Assalamu alaikum. Today's theme is titled, "The summer of Saqar has started to engulf the winter of the North Pole for this year of yours, 1445 after Hijrah, as per my promise to you in truth." This statement was written by the awaited Imam Mahdi, Nasser Mohammed al-Yamani, on the 31st of December 2023, and it will be recited to you by one of his supporters. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, and the controller over the kingdom of the heavens and the earth. Prayers that forgiveness and peace be upon all the messengers of Allah and their believing followers, from the first of them to the seal of them, Mohammed, the messenger of Allah. We make no distinction between any of Allah's messengers, and we are Muslim submitters to Him. Without further ado, here's a question for the nations of the Northern Hemisphere. When does the winter solstice start in the Northern Hemisphere? The answer of every understanding and rational person must say that the beginning of the winter solstice is on the 21st of December, the evening of the 22nd of December. Also, in the entire Northern Hemisphere, where most people reside, the winter solstice is absolute because of the longest winter night. Nasser Muhammad al-Yamani, who is still promulgating the fact that he is the last caliph on the whole world, its land and sea. Then I hold the argument against you of truth and say that the winter storm that engulfs Russia, China, Germany, most of Europe, and Quebec, Canada occur. Since the 21st of December, the summit of Saqar has been sweeping through the winter of the North Pole. It started with melting the historic snow, which engulfed all Chinese cities with different degrees from the far north to the far south, as well as the Canadian Quebec. Did the Canadian snow melt in Quebec and Montreal due to the occurrence of winter after the 21st of December 2023, even though the snow was supposed to remain in the streets of Canada until the beginning of spring 2024, then it starts to melt in April as every year? I shall hold the argument against you of truth and say, but the snows melted at the beginning of the Canadian winter on the day they started the winter solstice, and I repeat and say, the day of the winter solstice for you, all people of the North Pole. How would the harsh winter melt the snow, or you who had a black Christmas in most countries around the world? Do you not understand? Perhaps the ignorance who could barely think would like to say, and what's wrong with that? Then Allah's Caliph al-Mahdi Nasser Muhammad al-Yamani replies to you, challenging your minds and logic, and says, it is illogical for snow to melt because of the occurrence of winter, for the snow started after the first 10 days of December. Having said that, how did the snow start to melt hand in hand with the winter solstice? Have China, Europe, and Canada begun the winter or summer season? The answer of all the peoples of the North Pole is known. They will say the North Pole started winter on the day of the winter solstice on the 21st of December 2023. Hence I ask the world, will you not reason? Is not China supposed to get colder instead of rising in temperature from negative 40 degrees Celsius to far higher, to the point where snow begins to melt in the winter? Likewise, winter in Yemen was strongly felt until before the winter solstice, when the temperature rose from sub-zero in Sana'a, the capital, to many higher degrees, and is still rising. Did the people of Yemen start the summer or winter in Yemen on the 21st of December 2023? Although the people of Yemen were engulfed by the winter season before the day of the winter solstice, when the day of the winter solstice came, the temperature increased around the people in Yemen who are included in the Northern Hemisphere. Having felt the cold of the winter of the year 1445 after Hijrah, what started to destroy the winter season after its occurrence? And the answer with truth is, the Northern Hemisphere started to experience the climate of the summit of Saqar. Or you are informed about the summit of Saqar. Did not I tell you that it will initially annihilate the 4 seasons? So it changed the Earth's climate to a rainy summer and causing pouring rain, hail, thunderbolts, and submersion until the planet Earth is clad with grass and green trees due to the rain causing the floods of the summit of Saqar. Then rainy winds will be stopped, and because of the extremely unbearable increase in temperature, Allah will send fiery hurricanes to attack your gardens and homes like never before in the history of fiery hurricanes, O ye whose gardens are still green in winter. And you could not call it winter, for you call it the summit of Saqar, O people of the North Pole, because the summit of the sun has shifted with the sun to the southern hemisphere. How do Antarctica and the Alps melt at this time of the year, even though it is winter? Because you've started the summit of Saqar, as I promise you in truth, so it will sweep through all the seasons of this year of yours, 1445 after Hijrah, by command from Allah, my Lord and your Lord, who is in control of the kingdom of the heavens and the earth. Soon the entire winter will be annihilated before the end of the winter season, and the entire planet Earth will enter the climate of a scorching summit of Saqar. There are countries in Europe that were abruptly engulfed by snow after the 10th of December, after they called this winter a warm winter, due to El Niño and the global warming caused by their factory exhausts, and that is how they plotted against the summit of Saqar. To explain, they claimed that the thermal phenomenon of El Niño, which according to their claim coincided with the global warming of the spurious greenhouse gases, is the reason behind the global warming phenomenon that was not found on a scientific and physical basis. Consequently, Allah sent a blizzard against the major countries after the first Sunday of December, to the extent that German airports stopped their flights. However, now the snow in Germany and even the snow-capped mountains have melted, floods have occurred, and all the countries of Europe, China, Canada, America, and the Middle East have started their summer. The wisdom behind that is that Allah wanted to destroy the lie of the oceanic and thermal phenomenon of El Niño phenomenon and the phenomenon of global warming that occurred due to greenhouse gases, according to their claim. Allah wanted to expose their falsehood and their plotting against the truth. He knows that China is the largest manufacturing country that emits carbon gases that cause global warming, according to their claim. So Allah destroyed the lie about the phenomenon of global warming in the sky of China, and He violently shattered it in the sky of the largest manufacturing country on the earth by sending upon them a historic blizzard that they had never witnessed in their history. This being the case, all climatologists have been silenced and know with certainty that the warming of the Earth's climate is not due to the so-called global warming caused by the increase in greenhouse gases emitted from human factories, as they claim. Not only this, but also they are witnessing how Allah is seesawing winter and summer in the same week to shock them that perhaps they may fear the torment of Allah. Seasonal changes have been occurring, and climatologists could not come up with a scientific reason, and all they had to say was climate chaos. And I say yes, indeed climate chaos, because of the approach of the climate of the blazing planet Saqar towards planet Earth. The COVID of the summit of Saqar is also widespread evil. I do not mean the cold or influenza virus, but that which utterly destroys the blessing of smell and taste. Even if one takes a spoonful of salt, will not feel its taste, as if they swallowed dirt. And whoever does not feel that they have lost the blessing of smell and taste, they are not infected with COVID. This is a sign by which you can distinguish between the new COVID and influenza, and not be suspicious when you catch an infection without losing your sense of smell and taste. Now every person can tell whether they are infected with COVID or just a regular flu. Whoever has lost the blessing of smelling and tasting food, here is the free treatment. They must stick to what was stated in the statement I wrote on the 19th of May 2020. Anyway, I do not want to over-elaborate the battle of the COVID soldiers. This is just for the work to state their suspicions about whether they have the severe COVID, which is from the soldiers of Allah, the Almighty, the Praiseworthy, or irregular flu. Whoever utterly loses the senses of smell and taste has COVID, the firm plan of Allah. Those are the ones who have been given a chance from Allah among Arabs and non-Arabs. As for the other COVID, I'm not aware it has any symptoms except for the death of the infected. We want salvation for Allah's servants, not death, except for those who spurn His mercy and hate the truth revealed in the Great Quran. Those followed what displeases Allah and hated His pleasure, so He will save them from His torment. There's no escape, and they shall know it. Let us get back from Allah's corona war to His cosmic war, and all of them are solely controlled by Him. And this is so that the atheists know that Allah Almighty is in control of the kingdom of the heavens and the earth. Moreover, planet Saqar, the planet of the greatest fire, has arrived. Anyway, let me teach you about the reason behind all the seasonal changes. They are occurring because planet Saqar is bombarding the planet Earth from its frozen edges. It sends thermal drones to demolish the frozen air conditioners of the Earth, especially the North and South poles and the frozen ocean. The battle of bombing the air conditioner of the Northern Hemisphere has started, as per my promise to you by the command of Allah, starting from this December 2023, corresponding to 1445 after Hijrah. The North Pole is the central air conditioner for the Northern Hemisphere. I know that this was to destroy the North Pole's freon. The Saqar demolished the cold's freon masses. Then they fled to the world from the sky of the North Pole after Saqar's thermal missiles were launched into the sky of the North Pole. Concerning the beginning of the effects of the planet Saqar on the atmosphere of the poles of the planet Earth, it began to strengthen little by little since 2005. That is why Allah raised His servant and Caliph Imam Mahdi Nasser Mohammed al-Yamani to warn you since 2005, corresponding to 1426 after Hijrah, from the evil of the approach of the planet Saqar. I still say many congratulations to the wicked and the indifferent in this lunar year of 1445 after Hijrah, which is filled with the summit of Saqar. Then Allah will increase the temperature to 151 degrees Celsius. The year 1445 after Hijrah is shared between 2023 and 2024. This current year, 1445 after Hijrah, is also a decisive year that should not be taken for amusement. Lo and behold, did not winter in the Northern Hemisphere start on the 21st of December 2023? This means that it only takes 8 days from 2023. Then winter usually becomes harsher in the first month of the Gregorian calendar, which is in our case January 2024. However, the summit of Saqar will sweep through it. As I told you before, the summit of Saqar will engulf winter in the North Pole. I'm still confirming what I wrote before, and I say many congratulations to the wicked on what they are going to experience in this lunar year 1445 after Hijrah. Furthermore, I never contradict myself, but you always do. Anyway, as I told you before, the summit of Saqar annihilated the winter in the southern hemisphere. And I promise you, by Allah's permission, that the summit of Saqar will, by the command of Allah, destroy the winter of the northern hemisphere, starting from the 21st of December 2023. If the summit of Saqar had not been on its way to annihilate the winter of the North Pole, the Christmas snow would not have disappeared in many countries, especially in northern Canada, where they did not find snow according to their announcement on Christmas. Likewise, next Christmas will be a black holiday with no white snow. Even if new snow occurs after it fell in December, it will begin to melt in January. The snow will melt in January, the peak of winter, due to the continuation of Saqar's summer. If Saqar's summer was not on its way to destroy the northern hemisphere's winter, it would not have begun to annihilate Yemen's winter by raising the temperature from -5 degrees Celsius to above zero. Will you not reason? The people of Yemen and the entire world know that the harsh cold is in January, the first month of 2024. The peak of winter is January, so wait for missiles from the planet Saqar, which will raise the temperature of the climate of the edges of the earth in the southern and northern poles. Also wait for Saqar thermal throws in the east and west and towards the south and north poles, which are the central air conditioners of the earth. The biggest thermal throw of a visual sign is the visible smoke. Its thermal value is 151 degrees Celsius, and it will painfully torment people during the winter and summer journey. I remind and repeat and say during the winter and summer journey of the year 1445 after Hijrah. Very soon, the Statment of Saqar will completely demolish the winter in the northern hemisphere, since you do not take any heed when planet Saqar annihilated the winter of the southern hemisphere. And watch you. Verily, I too am watching with you. In line with the word of Allah the Exalted.
فارتقب يوم تأتي السماء بدخان مبين يغشى الناس هذا عذاب أليم ربنا اكشف عنا العذاب إنا مؤمنون أنى لهم الذكرى وقد جاءهم رسول مبين ثم تولوا عنه وقالوا معلم مجنون إنا كاشف العذاب قليلا إنكم عائدون يوم نبطش البطشة الكبرى إنا منتقمون صدق الله العظيم.
Surah Ad-Dukhan, chapter 44, verses 10 to 16. Despite announcing the signs of the cosmic climate war, signs and warnings are of no avail for people who do not use their minds. Those who call Allah's torment the war of nature and the war of climate disasters are far more astray than cattle. O Muslims, the reason for the climate chaos is the approach of the passage of the planet Saqar, which has puzzled the physics that Allah has placed in the climate on the planet of life. So why do you not believe Allah's ruling about the passage of the planet Saqar, even though the news of its passage has been placed by him in the clear verses of the Great Quran? Or do you not understand the words of Allah the Exalted?
خلق الإنسان من عجل سأريكم آياتي فلا تستعجلون ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين لو يعلم الذين كفروا حين لا يكفون عن وجوههم النار ولا عن ظهورهم ولا هم ينصرون بل تأتيهم بغتة فتبهتهم فلا يستطيعون ردها ولا هم ينظرون صدق الله العظيم.
Surah Al-Anbiya, chapter 21, verses 37 to 40. I give you a ruling with the truth that this winter and summer of yours have officially entered the summit of Saqar in this year of yours, 1445 after Hijrah. You'll certainly know that I'm truthful, and may the curse of Allah befall the liars, for who is more unjust than those who fabricate lies against Allah or deny His signs? Indeed, the unjust will never be successful. You will verily know that the curse of Allah will befall those who oppress, exceed all limits, and become great tyrants in Palestine and in various parts of the world that are filled with oppression and injustice. Such people want to extinguish the light of Allah, but He refuses but to perfect His light to the dismay of the wicked. Happy New Year! May you always be steadfast in following the truth till the day of judgment. Peace be upon the messengers, and all praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds. Your brother, Allah's caliph on the whole world, Imam Mahdi, Nasser Mohammed al-Yamani.